If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? What is up, you guys, and welcome to episode two of Hot Leather Pants Podcast. I'm Caitlin. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin. I'm your host. This is just a place for me to talk about music, talk about something that I've been passionate about my whole life, talk about one of my greatest loves of all time. Stories, myths, legends, album reviews, new music coming out, announcements from bands, my top 10 lists, which should be like top 100 lists, you know. Do you guys like my sweater? Shermer High School, Shermer, Illinois. If you don't know what movie it's from, go educate yourself. It's The Breakfast Club, thank you. Anyways, so today, I'm sorry I'm out of breath. I filmed this intro twice. I'm currently sweating. It's hot in my room. I've been running up and down the stairs in this house. Hold on. And I forget to breathe when I get excited about things, and I'm excited about this episode. Okay, so last week I put the polls in. I asked you guys what you wanted to hear from me this week. The choices were my top 10 favorite classic rock albums. And to be honest, I forgot the other ones. I think one of them was like new album reviews and releases, and then there was a different one that obviously was irrelevant because I forgot about it. And all of you voted for my top 10 classic rock albums. Mind you, I have like 1.5 million. Like, it was really difficult to choose, but I just kind of like went off the top of my head on what like I could just think of right away. And that's where the top 10 came from. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting to breathe again. Turns out I have all of those albums on vinyl, so I can show you guys what they look like. And we'll just like dive into why they're my favorite, how they became my favorite. Honestly, it's probably majority of them are because I have like favorite songs on each of the album. And I was like, this is sick. And then I just loved the entire album because of that, amongst other things. So, let me grab these real quick and we'll get this started. So, give me a second. If you hear crash, boom, and a bang, it's me breaking things. And there's too many chords. Okay, we'll put that there. Okay, now that I wonder if I can leave the, let's see, if I just leave the mic here. Okay, we're chilling. Alright, so this isn't going to be like a rated list. This is just like my top 10 that I was like, once I saw all the votes were in and all of you guys wanted to listen to me ramble about this for however long it takes, I was like, okay, so what are my top 10 favorite albums? Because like my favorites kind of change every once in a while. Like, things fluctuate, you know what I'm saying? Deep breaths, it's fine. And so these were the ones when I was typing it up in Apple Music, because I didn't realize I had all of them in vinyl. I should have known that I had all of them on vinyl, but I don't. I didn't know that. So anyways, these are just the ones that came off the top of my head that I was like, bam, this is a favorite. Bam, this is a favorite. Let's pick 10 of these. And there were more. So anyways, we're going to start with For Those About to Rock. It's a little empty right now because the vinyl's in my, it's like on the disc table. So anyways, AC/DC, For Those About to Rock, we salute you. Now, if you haven't heard this album, in my opinion, it's one of their best. Other than, I don't know, I really like, why did I point there? I really like Highway to Hell as well. But the first time I heard I was listening to this album. Obviously, for those about to rock, We Salute You is the first song on the album. And I remember hearing it. And for those of you that have heard this song, you know, like the canon at the end, where it's like, for those about to rock. Yeah, I lost my mind, and I was like, this is amazing. And then, I mean, the rest of the album, it just, like, all the songs kind of flow together. And this is why I say, like, if you're going to start listening to an album, don't shuffle it. Listen to it from beginning to end. I guess I should say from beginning to end, however you're viewing this, because it's mirrored. I'm still not used to it. Anyways, listen to it from beginning to end, because you're going to hear how each of the songs flows into the next. And how, like, there's a simple artistry in there. There's a specific artistry when you're listening to an album from beginning to end. You can hear all the, like, the little fills in between songs. And, you know, the shuffle button is just not worth it. So anyways, this album, one of my favorites, has been one of my favorites for probably 7 to 8 years now. I think the first time I heard it, I was like 15 or 16, somewhere in there. But yeah, Spellbound is one of my favorite songs on this album as well. Inject the Venom, it's one of my favorites. And for those about to rock, those are like my top 3 favorite songs on the album. But it's just also good. It's a fun, like, AC/DC reminds me of, like, an amusement park or, like, summer, you know? It's like summer rock and roll. Like, it's like sunshine, and you're just, like, chilling and having a good time. You don't have to worry about school. You know, you're still going to work, but that's, like, it. And you can just enjoy your time at the pool, you know? Having a beer, cocktail, whatever. And you just, you know? Concerts in the summer. So anyways, there's one of them. The next one is my Pride and Joy on vinyl, because I was very lucky to have found this album. It is Lovedrive by the Scorpions. And what makes this 10 times better, I don't know if I'm allowed to show this on YouTube, it's a picture disc. And that's you know, it's the album cover, but it's on the disc. And it's 2 sides. Okay? Hopefully I can show the other side. I don't know. We're going to find out if this gets flagged for inappropriate content. Well, okay, yeah, so, you know, we'll just cover that part. But anyways, yeah. I found this, like, I want to say about a year ago at the record store that I go to. And it was this was the second Scorpions album that I've collected for vinyl. My goal is to have all of them. Right now I have Lovedrive, I have Worldwide Live, I have, one of my coworkers actually found, it's the 84 album with Rock You Like a Hurricane, Love at First Sting, and then I also have Rock Believer, their newest album. So I have 4 out of, I don't even know how many, honestly. I should know, but I don't. So yeah, this is the second Scorpions album that I bought, my first picture disc. I've only played it like maybe 3 or 4 times because I was told if you play it too much, it's going to mess up the picture and you don't want to mess up the picture. But I can't not listen to the album, and I haven't messed up the picture yet. So this album is great. It has Loving You Sunday Morning, Another Piece of Meat, Always Somewhere, Coast to Coast, which is one of my favorite instrumentals in the realm of music ever. That's side 1. Side 2, we have Can't Get Enough, Is There Anybody There, Lovedrive, and Holiday. Holiday, like Still Loving You, is like one of their timeless classic ballads. And like Always Somewhere. I think Always Somewhere isn't known as well. And then there's like Lady Starlight, but that's on Animal Magnetism. That's not on this album. So, yeah, this album came out in 1979. One of my favorites. Mainly because it's a picture disc, but it's also the Scorpions, and the Scorpions are in my, like, they're like definitely 100% one of my favorite bands of all time. So that's Lovedrive. At the rate that I'm talking, this is going to be over in the next 5 minutes. I gotta add some fillers in here. My gosh. Okay, we're only on album 2. It's been 5 minutes. 10 minutes. We're fine. So yeah, and I also kept the sleeve. I've been trying to do that with all the albums that I bought on vinyl because I don't want them to get destroyed. I'm now like a collector / connoisseur. But yeah, this is a 1979 press. It was $55. Do I regret spending that much money? No. Absolutely not. It's one of the greatest purchases of my life. Excuse me. Good Lord. Coffee, you know? Alright. Okay, I'm going to follow the whole Scorpions thing. So, my other favorite Scorpions album, and also in my top 10, is Worldwide Live. I'll explain why there's marks like this on each of the albums, but this was the first Scorpions album that I bought, and I bought it at one of our local record stores where I live. And I was so excited because they've always been one of my favorite bands. Still Loving You was like one of the first songs that I heard by them, and I just fell in love. Rudolph Schenker's tone on guitar is like one of my favorite things to listen to, always. So, like, you know, in a bad mood, turn on the Scorpions. I usually turn on their slower songs when I'm in a bad mood. And it just makes me feel better, you know? So, anyways, yeah, Worldwide Live. This one's pretty cool. It's a double disc. So, there's 4 sides. One of my favorite things about... Oh, gosh, we almost lost a friend. Okay, one of my favorite things about this album is... Hello, can you see that? They're on stage. And this is from their 1986 tour. And they actually toured in Albuquerque. Wait. I just totally lied to you guys. I'm so sorry. This is... I don't know what I just said. This is it's a Worldwide Live album, but it's the Love at First Sting tour from 1984. And they came to Albuquerque, New Mexico, April 1st, 1984. That's one of the reasons why I bought it, because I saw that. And, like, even just, like, the vinyl covers have, like, these fun pictures. It's just, like, a trip down memory lane that I never even lived in. So it's, like, a trip in a time machine for me, basically. And, yeah, this is, like, all of their hits on it. Hold on, I'll read them out to you. Side 1 has Countdown, which is just the intro to their tour, or their stage performance. Coming Home, Blackout, Bad Boys Running Wild, Loving You Sunday Morning, and Make It Real. Side 2 is Big City Nights, or Big City Nights, however he says it. Coast to Coast. It's a great live version of Coast to Coast. Holiday and Still Loving You. In my opinion, I don't know where they recorded it, like which part of the country they were in when they recorded it, but the Still Loving You version on this album is by far one of their best. It's one of my favorites. Side 3, we have Rock You Like a Hurricane, of course, Can't Live Without You, Another Piece of Meat, and Dynamite. Side 4 has The Zoo, also another really great version of The Zoo live. Sometimes it's like hit or miss with bands, but all of these songs live are very, very good. Still Loving You is by far one of the best. The Zoo, Coast to Coast. No One Like You is right after The Zoo on side 4. Also very good. Can't Get Enough Part 1. 6 String Sting. Can't Get Enough Part 2. And they're from the albums Lovedrive, Animal Magnetism, Blackout, and Love at First Sting. And that is Worldwide Live. Oh yeah, I was gonna explain why it's like ripped up. So when I was in high school, I took all of like the vinyl albums, not the discs, just the album covers. And I think I explained it in the last episode, but I had put them all in chronological order from when the albums were released. And I'm pretty sure it started with Zeppelin, their first album, Zeppelin 1 and 2, and then it just went from there. And it's in chronological order from the far side of this wall all the way. I think it just covered up this one wall behind me, and some of, like, the wall above my door next to the ceiling. So that's why all those marks are here, because they lasted for probably a year and a half, and then they started falling off. And this is kind of funny as well. I had watched The Exorcist, like, around the time that I had these albums up. Maybe, like, a year later or something. And, like, at 3 a.m, this one album would fall off, and it would hit my light, and my light would turn off, like, for, like, 2 weeks straight. And so that's when I was like, I'm taking them down. And then I put the posters up with my Christmas lights. Who says you can't have Christmas lights year-round? Not me. Next is... Oh, I don't know. I love all of these so much. Maybe I should save some of the best for last. I think we'll do that. Okay, so next up is Billy Squier, Don't Say No. Mainly because my favorite song by Billy Squier is My Kinda Lover. And then The Stroke was like one of the first songs that I heard by him in high school. I didn't know what it was about until later, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting one. He really got away with that. But anyways, I'm having a hard time, like, recycling my air today. I don't know what's going on. Probably from running around like a bat out of hell. Anyways, got a cool little picture of... Why am I... Okay, camera, hello. We've got a cool picture of Billy Squier. And then, I mean, the disc cover is, like, it's kind of okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's, like, little yellow whatever. I don't know. Reminds me of, like, Hercules or something, you know, like the artwork on the vases. Anyways, yeah, I just really love My Kinda Lover. But this whole album is very good, so definitely listen to it when you get the chance. Another Billy Squier album that I own is Emotions in Motion. And I could literally just, like, dance to that album all day long. I don't even care. I love that one as well. I had to choose one or the other, so I picked this one just because it has My Kinda Lover on it. But I like both of them just pretty much the same. Okay, next. Okay, we're gonna save, like... Are we at 5? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Next is Def Leppard, High and Dry. This was one of the first Def Leppard albums that I heard when I was younger in high school. Yeah, this album has High and Dry, You Got Me Running, Let It Go, Another Hit and Run, Lady Strange, On Through the Night, Mirror, Mirror, Look Into My Eyes, No, 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 and Bringing on the Heartbreak / 625, which is the instrumental that follows Bringing on the Heartbreak. One of my favorite instrumentals as well. Yeah, this album's, like, pretty nostalgic, I guess, for me. Like I said in the last episode, one of the first albums that I, like, remembered getting from the library was one of their greatest hits albums. And I was very emotional back then, and the music that would make me feel the most, I would cling to. And so all of their, like, ballads and everything, I just absolutely loved. And it's a good album for just, like, blasting in your room when you're cleaning or when you're doing whatever, honestly. It's just, all in all, it's a really good listen. And it's very nostalgic for me. It's, like, 10 years ago almost that I discovered Def Leppard and fell in love with their music. So, High and Dry. I'm like getting flashbacks of when I like kind of first heard all these albums. So this is like an interesting trip down memory lane. Okay. We're gonna do this one next. U2, The Joshua Tree. When I was in middle school, this is one of the first classic rock. I don't know why I did that. One of the first classic rock albums that I heard. And I was probably 12 or 13. And I was in the junior orchestra at the time for Albuquerque's junior orchestra. And my dad would drive me. It was on Saturday mornings. And he put on this album one time. And he was like, just listen. Just enjoy it and listen. And I was like, okay. Well, then With or Without You came on. And I, like I said, I was a very emotional human being. And I needed that song in my life. So I also have, you can see it. This poster, it came with this. I looked for this album for years and years and years and years and years, and I didn't find it until my freshman year of college. It's beautiful. It's hard to find. It's very popular. One of the best albums in history. And I think I cried when I found it, and I was like, oh my god, I have to buy it now. Because I'd been looking for it for so long. I would ask Barnes & Noble to tell me if they ever got it in. I would, go to another record store that we have here, and, I would stop by there at least once a week when I was going to school, or when I was in high school, and because I was always on that side of town. And I was always looking for this album, always. When I was younger, I would, make a list of all the artists and albums that I wanted to find, and I would usually never find them. But then the days that I went in with zero expectations, I always, had really good finds. And this was just one of those days where I was tired after college classes, and I went with my friends, and I was like, I just need to go and escape for a minute, and let's go here. And we did, and I found it, and I was so happy. I was like, this is the best day ever. So, forever one of my favorite albums. Forever, ever, ever. I'm getting so old. I'm capping it at 24. I'm not getting any older than that. My age, once I turn 24 this year, we're done. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't deal with it. Alright. Next album is Houses of the Holy. You don't have to go. Baby, please don't go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, we're gonna lose a friend. Ooh. So that's the inside. This is remastered. Okay, so it's not mine, it's my mom's. But it was in my vinyl collection. So, anyways, Houses of the Holy. Oh, here's the back as well. I'll have to get the Zeppelin book out, and I'll have to, go through. Oh, that would be a great episode. Okay, so the Zeppelin book that I talked about in the first episode, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. If you want to click out of this, that's fine, whatever. It's just the fact that you've watched some of this episode still gets me a view, so thanks. Anyways, the Zeppelin book, Hammer of the Gods, for each album that they released, the author of the book wrote, the stories behind each album, because it's Zeppelin, okay? This is like, if you don't know who this is and you've never heard this album before, never heard any songs from this album, never heard of Zeppelin, you are going to be like, who on earth is going to make an album cover about all these naked little kids? That's going to get flagged. Anyways, Zeppelin, they were very, like, interesting, spiritual, like, so all of their album covers and albums had, like, a story behind them, and they all had meaning. So I don't remember, there was a huge thing about this whole album artwork. I think it had something to do with, like, worshiping a god or something, and these kids are, like, moving up this, like, rock mountain. I think. I'll have to, I should do an episode on that. That would be sick. Do I need to get the full album out for this, or can I just get the paper? Is it going to be both? Okay. On Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy, on side 1, we have the song that remains the same. This album starts out super, like, just, like, to the punch. And I love it. Okay? Then we have the Rain song, and it's, you know, one of my favorite Zeppelin songs of all time. It's beautiful. It's a very beautiful song. Then we have Over the Hills and Far Away. Then we have The Crunge. The Crunge is, it's kind of a goofy song in my opinion. It's just, like, really groovy and, like, it's just funky. This whole album is really funky, and it's really good. Then we have on side Dos, Dancing Days. Dire Maker, which is what I was singing when I got the album out. No Quarter, one of my favorite Zeppelin albums, Caitlin. Zeppelin songs of all time is No Quarter. The song is dope. Oh my gosh, I just had Zeppelin, like, one of their live versions of this song come up on my suggested on YouTube last week, and it was amazing. If I find it, I'll link it in the bio, so those of you who really want to watch it, you know, check it in my bio, in the description, whatever. I'm still getting used to all these terms, okay? Next is The Ocean. Also very, very good. That's the last song on the album. An interesting thing about Zeppelin is Jimmy Page produced most of their albums, if not all of them, if I'm correct. He was not only one of the world's greatest musicians, but he was also one of the greatest producers. And he produced, I'm pretty sure he produced all of Zeppelin's albums. Pretty sure. So, that's Houses of the Holy. Go listen. I guess I could add links to each of these albums for YouTube and Spotify. YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music for y'all to check these albums out, if you're intrigued by any of them. A lot of these are from the 70s and 80s. All of them are from the 70s and 80s. Who am I kidding? So, yes. Alright. Next, we have Journey's Greatest Hits. This is volume 1. There's 2 of them. The other album is Blue. For my Journey, singular, fans, y'all know, there's 2. One's red, one's blue. This was the first Journey album that I bought myself. Not the first one that I have in my collection, because my parents had Journey albums. I think before I got this one, we had Frontiers. That might be the only one. And then recently I bought Escape. And perhaps another one. I don't remember. Oh, maybe Raised on Radio, I think. Anyways, this was one of the first albums that I bought as well in my vinyl collection. Side 1, we have Only the Young, Don't Stop Believin', Wheel in the Sky, Faithfully. If you don't know who Journey is, guaranteed you do know who they are, because Don't Stop Believin' is, like, one of the most popular songs of all time, and I would be incredibly surprised if you hadn't heard that song. So that's who Journey is, in case you didn't know. You're like, hey, what's that song about the kid in a small town world, lonely world? Small town girl in a lonely world. Yeah, that's Journey. Not my rendition. Sorry. Okay. Side 2. We have I'll Be Alright Without You, Any Way You Want It, Ask the Lonely, and Who's Crying Now. Ask the Lonely is one of my favorite songs. If I need to, like, get my energy up, I'll literally just, like, jump around to that song. I know it sounds absolutely psychotic, but it's a good one when you need to get your mood up, get your heart rate going. It's a good one. Side 3, we have Separate Ways, Worlds Apart, Lights, Love and Touch and Squeezin', and Open Arms. Side 4, we have Girl Can't Help It, Send Her My Love, Be Good to Yourself, and When You Love a Woman. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I heard When You Love a Woman, I sobbed. I was like, this is so beautiful. And then Be Good to Yourself. So this is fun. When I was going to college, before I went online, I was in the marching band, and we did a Journey show, and we did Separate Ways, and Be Good to Yourself, and pretty sure it was Don't Stop Believing, something like that, and it was one of the greatest shows ever. I was so excited. It was so much fun. So yeah, that's Journey's Greatest Hits, Volume 1. Okay, the last 2. Drum roll, please. You guys might be surprised. Maybe not. We have Purple Rain, the soundtrack. This is one of my favorite albums. Also brings me back, very nostalgic for me. Yeah. You can't see it. No, I have a poster of Prince above these ones, and it came from this album. This album, in my opinion, is like a masterpiece. That and 1999. I love that album as well because I was born in 99. So, and that's also just a really great album. Prince was something else. So on this album, we have Let's Go Crazy, Take Me With You, Computer Blue, Darling Nikki, When Doves Cry, I Would Die For You, and I love it. That's like my favorite song on this album. I would die for you. Excuse me. Darling, if you want me to, you. Okay, anyways, then we have Baby I'm a Star. Then we have The Beautiful Ones. I love that song. And then Purple Rain. Obviously, one of my favorite aspects about this album is the way that this album starts out, okay? And he says in the first song, Let's Go Crazy, Dearly Beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Electric word life, it means forever, and that's a mighty long time, but I'm here to tell you there's something else, the afterworld. A world of never-ending happiness. You can always see the sun, day or night. So when you call up that shrink in Beverly Hills, you know the one, Doctor, everything will be all right. Instead of asking him how much of your time is left, ask him how much of your mind. That doesn't make sense. Baby, 'cause in this life, things are much harder than in the afterworld. In this life, you're on your own. Dun 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 dun. Anyways, it's a great album. And if you haven't watched the movie, watch the movie. I watched it when I was like 17, and I should probably watch it again. But it's kind of like it's like about his life, kind of. I don't know how accurate it is, but I mean, I think there's parts of the movie that are incredibly accurate and some that are probably just made up for the film. But definitely listen to it. All of these albums, again, just listen beginning to end. Don't hit shuffle. The great thing about vinyl is you can't skip any of it unless you want to scratch your disc. So, honestly, the only one that you could get away with shuffling and it makes sense still is the Greatest Hits album. Everything else you have to listen to from beginning to end. And if you don't tell me. I don't want to hear it. Okay? Next. And I mentioned this last week. And if you paid attention last week, you might have been like, when is she going to bring this one out? Well, it's one of my favorite albums of all time. So it's the last one. It is Van Halen's 5-1. Okay. 5-0. 5-1-5-0. With Sammy Hagar singing and not David Lee Roth. Don't hate me. Okay? It's just one of my favorites. Okay, so on this album we have Best of Both Worlds, Dreams, Why Can't This Be Love, Love Walks In, 5-1-5-0, Inside, Good Enough, Summer Nights, and Get Up. This whole album is fantastic from beginning to end. However, if you did pay attention last week and I had told you about my background with the love ballads and everything, Love Walks In was the first song that I heard. And it's one of my favorite Van Halen songs of all time. I don't care if you disagree or not. That song it's pure. It's beautiful. The live versions, also my favorite. Love Walks In was one of the first songs that I heard in high school by Van Halen, other than the other Van Halen songs that I knew. But it just really, I was emotional. So when I heard this, I was like, I want to be loved like that. Like, what? So that was one of the first ones. Then, it was Why Can't This Be Love, Dreams. Which other ones did he do? Not Enough, that's one. There's another one I'm thinking of, but I can't remember what it's called right now. But yeah. And then there's Inside. Inside's one of my favorite songs as well by Van Halen. It's just like, it just starts off like really cool and then it just gets cooler and cooler and cooler. So, yeah, Summer Nights, just what you would think. Cruising in the car at night, having a fun time with your friends. Like, think of a montage. That's the song playing in the background. So, yes. This was their first album that they released with Sammy Hagar. And then it was OU 18. I think that's what it is. And then they only did like two or three, I think. Don't be mad. I'm pretty sure it was only like 2 or 3. So yeah, those are my top faves. Just the ones that right off the top of my head, I was like, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I love all of these albums so much. I can never get enough. I'll link them in the description. If you do listen to them, don't make the mistake of putting them on shuffle. Don't be that person. Music is not meant to be listened like that. Especially albums. If it was like just a random playlist, I'd be like, put it on shuffle and listen to it. But like, these are albums that were produced and made in a specific, songs were put in a specific order for a specific reason. Appreciate that. Appreciate the artists. And yes. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like for more videos. You can find me on social media. You can find the podcast on social media. Hot Leather Pants Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I do polls on Facebook, and I try to do polls on Twitter, but I literally have 4 followers, and maybe, I think one of them is somebody that I know. I follow, like, a lot of I guess, like, blog pages and stuff, or whatever, to get, like, news about music. But most of it's, like, hip-hop and rap industry, since that's really popular right now. I don't know if I said at the beginning, a big rest in peace to Gary Rossington, and a huge thank you for all the music that he shared with the world. He passed away yesterday. That got really sad all of a sudden, I'm sorry, but, like, if you guys are Leonard Skinner fans, you probably already know. If you don't know, now you know. Megadeth announced a new tour. Speaking of newsy stuff, Megadeth announced a new tour. They're touring Canada. Still waiting on Metallica's 72 Seasons to come out. And yeah, I didn't really check the charts this week. It's been really busy recently. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, like, subscribe, comment down below some of your favorite albums, and, you know, we could have, like, a little discussion going in the comment section. I will post a link to these albums in the description box, as well as that live version of No Quarter by Led Zeppelin. And yeah, like I said, go check out social media, Hot Leather Pants Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, so you could see when I'm doing polls and stuff. If you guys have me on other social media and I do polls and stuff, try to engage with it and try to let me know. I know, like, it doesn't seem like a lot, but, like, 13 subscribers is a lot to me, especially in just the last week. And I just want to say thank you for all of you guys' support. Sorry, my brain just farted. And just, like, watching this, engaging with my stuff on social media if you have, and checking in and stuff. So yeah, thank you. If you're new here, welcome. This is, you know, just, like, my space to talk about my feelings. No, talk about music, and especially rock and roll, but really just music in general. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me again. If you have, if you watched through the whole video, also thank you. That's, like, I don't know, that's, like, huge to me, for you to listen to me rambling for 40 minutes about music. So yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you on my social medias, and I'll see you here next week with a new video. So yeah, thank you guys.